Nosey Nancies is a true crime podcast based in Austin, Texas. If you are sensitive to any of the trigger words, this is not the podcast for you. Due to its graphic nature, listener discretion is advised.
Somewhere between the sandy and again. Well, I was just pretending that it's all just a dream. A little condescending to believe in it. I'm getting the notion that I'm going all in.
Hey, all you nosies. I'm Alequah.
And I'm Jasmine, and welcome to this episode, the special episode of Nosey Nancies.
The thing is that, like, every time we get back on the ball to these podcast episodes, something happens in Austin and we have to talk about it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I actually have quite a bit to talk about today.
I was going to tell you what's happening right now.
Oh.
In my front yard.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead. Just cut that out.
Do you remember the first or second episode that we did? I think it was like the third episode. All of a sudden, like, there was all these worms dangling from the webs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're back.
Oh, my God.
They are back. And
you have a fear, don't you?
Oh, my God. Yes, I'm terrified. They are the bane of my existence. 183 and webworms are the bane of my existence, honestly.
Jesus.
Ugh, they're terrible. I saw one today. I was gonna go get coffee before we did this, and I saw one hanging from a tree, like I don't even know, a
like
booger.
A baby hanging out of the veg from its umbilical cord.
Ew! What the fuck?
I mean, I don't know how else to describe them. But yeah, they're just hanging there.
No, they're like Satan's babies from hanging from their... Yes. God, they're terrible. Like, what's the point of them? Honestly, what is the point of them? Like, what do? They just hang. They just hang and get in your hair. That's it. That's all they do.
They're probably like little sweeties. I don't know anything about them, but I'm assuming that they're sweet.
Whose side are you on, honestly? It doesn't seem like a very good plan if you're a mama caterpillar to, like, have your babies hanging from a tree where there's lots of birds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I wonder if that's what they do, is they, like, hang and then the bird comes and eats them, but they're, like, they are one of those parasites that, like, takes over the bird's brain.
Wow. What is this, like, Fallout? Like, what the hell?
They have those bugs that have those parasites.
Yeah, I know. I've heard about that. So weird. Like, those are legitimate zombies.
Yeah, it's true.
We're living in a world where there are legitimate zombies besides Jesus. Jesus was the first zombie.
Yeah. He died a long time ago.
Yeah, but then he came back. So he was either a vampire or a zombie.
Whatever your denomination believes.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand the point. Like, what are they doing? How do they survive? You know, like, it just doesn't seem like a very good... They don't seem like a smart species, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But, I'm ready if you're ready.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just pretty much here to bitch, honestly.
I love it. I'm here to listen.
So, as of recording, it's April the 20th. So
420.
It's blaze 'em. I don't know how much people are keeping up with, the lake anymore. Obviously, more bodies have been discovered in the lake. But this month alone, there's some interesting kind of coincidences. And then I'm just gonna sit and bitch and vent for some time.
Perfect.
For however long it takes. So April 1st, there was a body discovered on Lake Austin. Lake Austin, Lady Bird Lake, same thing.
Yeah, they're just separated by a dam. Lake Austin is just farther. It's like more like Westlake area.
There was a body discovered Sunday evening. The APD said, they showed up around 5:45. Officers responded to a welfare check under the Pennybacker Bridge. And when the officers arrived, they found a deceased person who was pronounced dead on arrival. We don't know who that person is. No information has been released, but it's interesting because who was found April 1st of 2023 was Jonathan Honey.
Oh.
So exactly a year later, another body was found.
So now this is just hearsay. This isn't like confirmed. But there was a woman who claimed that she knew his family.
Okay.
And now this is just hearsay. It's not like there's no way for us to confirm this. But she said that there was a note left by him. And then he, I guess, like, took his own life off the Pennybacker Bridge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but that's not confirmed because we can't, because we don't know this man's identity, so we can't confirm or deny if that was, if she actually is a family friend of the decadent.
Right.
Or the decedent. How do you say that?
The deceased?
Well, yeah, the deceased. But there's like an actual word. It's like decadent or
desiccated?
No. They say it instead of like deceased. Anyways, I'm an idiot. But no, so we can't, there's no way to confirm that what she's saying is actually true.
That's the bridge that has that little railing on top of it, right?
Yes, yeah. But that is very interesting that it was April 1st.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if it is who they say, then that point is kind of moot. But if it isn't, then it's bizarre.
It is bizarre. Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely worth looking into. And like I said, like we have no way to confirm what she was saying.
Yeah.
Like this is all people on the internet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
one thing about the, Facebook groups surrounding the deaths in the lake is that people do get upset about a lot of things. On April 9th, there was a death. It turns out that it wasn't actually a body pulled from the lake, but it was around the lake, like on a trail. Someone had a cardiac event and ended up passing away. There were initially several different conflicting reports about whether or not it was someone who was pulled from the actual lake itself. And then I did see one comment, again, can't be verified, that was someone who said that the person was their mother-in-law's nephew and that he had nothing wrong with his heart. Just indicating that there's some sort of suspicion there.
again, like he could have been drugged from the bars and, and like had a reaction to the drug.
Right.
Like we don't know. It's hard. I mean, also, I think at that time it was a fairly hot day. Mm-hmm. And if you're not used to the Texas weather, like that could also cause, harm to your body.
Heat stroke and
yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is that they, there was no information on was this person out running the trail or walking the trail, or were they out doing something active, or were they just walking around just to, get somewhere else, or what were they doing? Don't know.
Oh, no. And like a lot of times you don't know if you have something wrong with your heart. I mean, like I'm not like trying to discredit what the person said,
Thank
but
you.
like a lot of times people don't know that they have these heart conditions. You know what I mean?
I
It's true.
mean, unless you're keeping an eye on it.
Like me, who's a hypochondriac, and I have to.
I'm telling you, today I'm having trouble like deep breathing, and I'm convinced that I'm dying. There's a blood clot in my lungs. So on April 13th, there was another body found, and this was an unidentified black male who was discovered by a fisherman around 7:38 a.m. around the 500 block of South Pleasant Valley Road near the Longhorn Dam. The victim again was
Ugh.
pronounced dead pretty much at the scene when the cops responded at 7:52. The cause of death is currently under investigation, and it'll be determined by the Travis County Medical Examiner following the autopsy report. And just a side note, Christopher Hayes Clark was found April the 15th of 2023. So,
At the same location at near Longhorn Dam,
yeah,
and he was
so
also African American.
there was someone who was reported missing who also was found deceased, who at this time, with so little information about the body found April 13th, fits the description, but it's unconfirmed whether or not it's the same person.
I think his family is not
Not
wanting
wanting
to
it to come
connect.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I'm pretty sure that that person that went missing, I think, when did he go missing? I believe it was April 9th. No, no,
Missing.
maybe no, April 11th. I think he went missing April 11th and was found April 13th. Or yeah, and was confirmed. Well, we don't know when he was confirmed.
Yeah, last seen
Passed.
April 11th.
Yeah. But they did pull the body from Longhorn Dam on April 13th.
Yeah. Just 2 days later, so.
Mm-hmm. And the guy that went missing, I mean, we could probably talk about, we can't say his name, but we could probably talk a little bit about, like, do you know the circumstances of how he went missing, or?
Well, he was an Uber driver. I am assuming that he was here visiting his family, and he received, Uber, you can work from anywhere, so he received a call requesting an Uber and left and just never returned.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
The thing about all these cases, especially the ones on Rainy Street, a lot of them have something to do with ride sharing. It seems like ride sharing is. I mean, I know we have friends that do ride sharing and stuff, or at least I do. I don't know about you, but like I know people who do ride share, and like honestly, like it's pretty fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
I've realized.
I don't know a lot of people who do ride sharing because it is so dangerous.
Dangerous. Well, like I mean, there's some people that like my friends take Ubers or Lyfts everywhere. It seems like, and I've never done it. Like I think the only way I would do a ride share is if I actually went through like a taxi service
Yeah.
at this point.
I mean, I've
Because
definitely been in taxis and stuff before.
yeah, I just feel like, and I'm not trying to like diss any ride shares or anything like that. And if you are a ride share driver, like good for you. Like I'm not saying anything negative about you personally, but like you need to watch your back because like there are
That sounded threatening.
serious. I know. No, but it's dangerous. Like it's dangerous. I don't know how like as a woman or like a femme presenting person, like there's no way that I would drive these strange people around.
No.
Are you kidding?
No. No
God,
way. No, that's way too dangerous.
it's so dangerous.
I mean, I'm
And it's
scared to even to even hail an Uber or whatever. I don't know what they call it, but to even
to
take an
order.
Uber as a passenger.
That's what I'm saying. It's like no matter which way, if you're the driver or if you're the passenger, it seems pretty pretty risky on both sides.
Yeah.
Because who's to say that this guy didn't pick up somebody and they did something, you know, robbed him or tried to rob him? I mean, this is like Austin's not a small, cute little, sweet little town anymore.
Yeah.
Like this is a city that has crime and it has murderers and it has, you know, bad people in it.
Well, and it's like a very touristy town, so there's people who, you know, don't live there and who can't be tracked there,
Right.
who are hanging out also.
Right. When my parents moved here, it was like all like peace, love, and barbecue, you know? And now it's like, it's just not the same. It's not the same. It's big, it's bigger, and it's like dangerous, and I don't know. I mean, I guess it's not like Chicago, but
Yeah. I remember it being like such a completely different vibe. And then it was like overnight, everything changed.
yeah. Yeah, it was like overnight. When we lived together, it was still so like chill, I feel like.
Yeah.
2012 or something, it just it exploded.
Yeah.
People say it's because like the tech industry exploded, but I think honestly, it was ACL because people came here for the festival.
Shows. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they were like, "Oh my god, that's so cool. It's such a tiny little town." And then they all started moving here.
Yeah. Like all of a sudden everybody was taking the little, what are they called? The Segways. Zooming around on Segways downtown, and people are renting out Segways. I know that was the like, I could spot the problem when I saw the Segway tours rolling around downtown Austin.
My cousin Steve, he not only did he live in the towers at Town Lake, which is the condominium place that recorded Martin Gutierrez. Remember we talked about Martin Gutierrez, and he lived in those condominiums. He also had a Segway.
My God.
He would get on his little Segway and he'd go everywhere. And then it's got to be like 2008 maybe or maybe 2009.
They're so stupid, those Segway. You know, the inventor of the Segway died. He rolled off a cliff.
On a Segway?
On a Segway. How embarrassing.
Yeah.
What an embarrassing way to die. You're rolling off a cliff on a Segway. Like, how out of control does your Segway have to be?
I know, honestly. What the hell? How did he do that? When was that? When did that happen?
2010?
Oh, so like right after he invented it.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be me. I would invent something amazing or like made me so much money and then I just fucking died. Let's be for real.
You know, the person who like made Operation couldn't afford their own operation? Do you remember that?
Oh, no. That's sad. But also very, very American. Mm-hmm. That seems to be the theme for all Americans these days.
I think that they sold out too soon. And eventually, like, they needed to have a life-saving operation that they couldn't afford.
Oh, no. That's so sad.
But once it started to get around on the internet, I think that, like, somebody set up a GoFundMe for him and he got it paid for, but...
Oh, thank God. Or thank the people of GoFundMe.
Who are God, so...
Who are God, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So is there anything else?
You know, I want to talk about the lake because my expectations are probably not realistic, but
yeah, because our expectations of having a safe lake where people don't die and get drugged in is very high, apparently.
So something needs to be done, and it can't be taken lightly because this lake has been a fucking issue ever since has been invented. Like, yeah. It's a man-made lake. So
most lakes are.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Sorry.
Well, all right. Thank you for the education.
Thank you, Mrs. Know-It-All.
But I mean, obviously, like any body of water is going to be a danger or a health issue if someone is like has some sort of medical problem like pre-existing and they shouldn't be swimming. But for the most part, people know like that they have something that is risky, so they don't go in the water. But
Right.
there needs to be some actual measures in place. So I don't know if you know or remember, but in 1961, there was a massive like chemical spill that killed thousands of the fish within like a 200-mile radius downstream.
I had no idea.
That had to do with DDT pesticides, which have been outlawed. But
Right. But at the time, they weren't.
But at the time, a chemical company spilled some shit into the water and killed a bunch of the fish. So the fish, eventually they came back. Well, then in 1987, the health department also issued an advisory that you shouldn't eat certain species of fish if you catch them from the lake because of elevated concentrations of chlordane, which is a pesticide used for termite treatments, which was banned in 1983. So somehow between 1983 and the discovery that the fish had high amounts of this pesticide in them, chlordane, like there had been another spill or something that had heavily impacted the fish. So that's where this rumor that you can't eat the fish comes from. However, I was on the little like austintexas.gov and they say that, the levels at some point went down. So the fish should be okay to eat. Well, shit, like clearly there's some sort of an issue if there keeps getting
twice
to be contaminants in the water,
Do you know on The Simpsons where there's like the nuclear lab and then like they reel in the fish and it's got 3 fucking eyes?
Yeah.
That's our fish.
Exactly.
So in 1961 there was a DDT spill.
Right.
And then in 1987
was when the advisory was issued that you shouldn't eat the species, but the chlordane was actually banned in 1983. So
they banned
years
it
between before
the
advisory came out.
Wow.
So
how did they get into the water? Do you know?
I have no idea. I could not find that out.
No, they probably keep that under lock and key.
I'm sure. So there was actually a book written about the DDT issue called Silent Spring that did detail a little bit of the... I'm going to try to say this as demurely as possible, but there was a chemical company called...
Oh, God.
Called Alequah, and they had to do with the spill.
Wait, what was it called? A cock?
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
ACOCK Laboratories.
Oh. Alequah Laboratories. Is this real life right now? Like, what the fuck? Who decided that would be a great name for a laboratory?
Like, was it named after someone in the family?
What a bunch of dicks, honestly.
I mean, seriously. It's a very fitting name. But that was, it also dumped insect powder into the lake. And this lady, Rachel Carson, published a groundbreaking best-selling book, Silent Spring, which I have neither heard of nor read.
No, and I feel like we should all know about that book because we're all surrounded. I mean, this is a body of water that like we're near a lot. That our population is near this body of water. Our dogs are in it. I go fishing in Lady Bird Lake, not legally, but I do it, and I don't ever catch anything because I'm terrible at it. But my friend Carissa goes fishing there all the fucking time.
Right. Well, and I do want to mention that so the DDT is a completely separate incident from the chlordane. So it is two legitimately like different chemicals that have been dumped so far that we're aware of into the lake.
That we're aware of, right. Yeah, no. So 1961 was the DDT, and then 1987 was the termite.
Was the chlordane.
God, that's fucking crazy. So who knows?
So who knows? Like, people go out there to fish all the time. Like, what are you eating? You know, do you know?
Yeah. No.
And don't go out there and fish for catch and release because it's rude. It hurts the fish.
Well, I don't catch anything, so don't worry. But Carissa does do catch and release.
Excuse me.
No,
please
Kurt Cobain said it's okay to eat fish because they don't have any feelings, so it's fine.
That's not true. They just discovered like crabs and lobsters and shit are sentient.
Oh God. Poor things, and we boil them.
Yeah, alive.
Oh, terrible.
Don't mess with them.
I've never had lobster because I'm poor, so.
I don't think I have either. So that's my point number one.
Okay.
Point number two is, you know, you can't swim in there. In
50 something.
60, I think.
Are you talking about the little girl?
The little girls. There were two. Okay. Two sisters that were 8 and 11 years old drowned on Mother's Day over 50 years ago due to just the high amount of debris and deep areas from gravel mining that makes it dangerous to swim in. So rather than clean up the bottom and remove any of that shit, they're just like, oh yeah, you can't swim there.
I heard it was because of a vegetation called fanswort.
Fanswort? What is that one?
So fanswort, so this is what I heard. This is what I read. Now, I don't know because when we first started doing season 1, I looked into the possibility of maybe these guys are drowning because of, you know, like something just biological, not necessarily, you know, diabolical, basically. And so there's a vegetation in Lady Bird Lake called fanswort, and it's like a thick seaweed. And I read that a girl in the 50s was swimming, got tangled up into it, and drowned.
And died.
And I've heard, like, I looked it up, and they do that is a cause of drowning that has happened, because if you're not a strong swimmer, you can easily get tangled up, and there is high levels of it in Lady Bird Lake. They try to keep the population down, but I mean, what can you do? It's a fucking wild plant. Right. Now, the debris and stuff makes sense too, because of all the construction that's happened, and like, I don't think we ever clean out the channels, like the river channels. We talked about it in season 1, I think, with one of the guys in either Chicago or Boston, where they had claimed that one of the guys had like sunk to the bottom and like was caught up in all the debris, and that's why he had like all these wounds on his body, but they had just dredged that lake or body of water that they were in, so all the debris that they said was there actually wasn't, because they had it's basically like taking like a big like underwater broom and just kind of like
sweeping everything out.
Yeah, sweeping everything out. Exactly. I think it's dredging. Let me make sure, because I do make up words a lot. This is kind of my charm. You know what I mean?
I agree. It is very charming.
Yeah, dredging. So
I'm voting that they change it to drudging. Me
too. So that our podcast can seem like we're smarter than we are.
We're informed. Yeah, well, like, I understand there's going to be rebar and whatever down there. Pieces of old bridges was one thing that was listed as being down there. Like, okay, well, it doesn't, even if that was not an issue, you still wouldn't want to swim in it, because pretty much all of the lakes in Austin, Lady Bird Lake, Lake Austin, and Lake Travis, are the only bodies of water in Texas to be listed as having a dangerous blue-green algae blooms.
Yes.
Which is incredibly toxic.
Right.
And not only do these blooms have the potential to kill humans if it's ingested, but it's also killed several dogs, because the dogs are drinking the water or going swimming and then licking it off their coats.
Yes. Yep.
And this algae is also something that can harm aquatic ecosystems and threaten the drinking water supplies. So
what do they do what do they do about that?
So I think that it started in like 2019, these like blooms, but ever since 2019, they're happening yearly. Like, I'm sure they happened before, but they're happening every year now since 2019. And if it gets kind of out of control, I think they try to dump shit in the lake to kind of kill it off. But
like a chlorine or something? Like,
I guess so.
They would do like a pool, like shock it.
Yeah. Well, something strong enough to kill it. But again, like, you can't.
What's that doing to the wildlife?
Yeah, like, what is that doing to the fish and shit that are supposedly safe to eat that you're getting out of there?
Yeah, no, it's scary. It's scary.
But the other thing that I was going to mention is the City of Austin Parks and Recreation Department, in partnership with the Department of Natural Sciences at Houston-Tillotson University, did a study, because they were like, we want to see exactly how clean the water is of, the presence of contaminations like E. coli.
Yeah.
So
God, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
So
go ahead, tell me.
You're going to hear it. They tested the water last year in March. They tested the water before, during, and after a busy weekend, and found out that there are so many people coming to the lake that the water's being negatively affected. And it is raising the E. coli to a concerning fluctuation. And then not only that, but they also complained about erosion during the, busier times along the shore, because they said that the people who are using the trails to get in and out of the water with their boats and shit are using a lot of unofficial access points, and they're saying that it's degrading the surrounding environment of the lake. So it's like causing all of this wash off of the shore, because people are just dragging their shit in the lake in the places that they're not supposed to be.
Stop doing that. Stop doing that, people.
One of the suggestions that was given as a way to positively impact the lake after the study was to get some volunteers and interns to clean the lake. But the lake is so dangerous that, it's normal for 2 to 3 bodies a month to be pulled out and be labeled, accidental drownings, and for all these chemicals to be spilled, and for it to be ridden with E. coli and blue-green algae blooms. So you want people to volunteer to go in there and preserve this fucking shithole.
I like how they're like, let's send the interns in.
Yeah.
Like, as if interns don't have enough on their plate.
Seriously.
Like, they have to be the ones that have to die for our water source.
Yeah.
Come on.
And for what? Like, if this is such a hassle, then why are people even going? And I know it's because, Lady Bird Lake specifically, and Lake Austin too. I mean, those are big name like areas that have always been, if you go to Austin, you want to visit these places. But it's
Right.
not the same anymore because it's not being taken care of. Like, they're fucking trashed. Like, that's one thing that you have to worry about if you're swimming in there, is getting tangled up in trash and plastic water bottles and
Right. Like
drowning
little
because of
sea
those.
turtles.
Yeah.
Right. Not just the ecology of the lake and preserving the, and preserving it.
Hmm.
They also, the city of Austin are just like refusing to do anything to help aid people who are like walking around it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like they're not doing anything for that as well.
Well, and that's something else, is like, if you do go to these places to see the, beauty, if you can call it that anymore, then, I mean, you know, be careful what time you go. Don't go alone. I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely not a safe place to be around anymore. I actually looked up
No.
on TripAdvisor, and people are giving the lake like 1-star ratings because they were mugged whenever they went out there, or because they know somebody who is mugged or sexually assaulted, or you know what I mean? Like, it's just
Yeah.
not even a safe place to be. Which, if that's the case, then block it off, make it, inaccessible to the public, have some sort of security system around there, clean it up, and have it be a landmark to visit but not to interact with.
Yeah, they'll never do that because part of people coming to visit, part of the tourist money that we get is people wanting to paddleboard on the lake, on Lady Bird Lake, which brings me to on the same day that they pulled the unidentified man out of the lake off of by Longhorn Dam, there was two other people that were in the lake as well.
Really?
There was a paddleboarder who fell off of his paddleboard. I think it was a man. I don't know actually the gender, and they were drowning, but they were rescued. Somebody pulled them up out of the water, and they probably weren't drowning. They probably were like dying from all the fucking DDT and E. coli in the water. And then they pulled another person the same day, who was unconscious in the lake.
Really?
Yeah. So there's been speculation that maybe that person could be like a breakthrough case for all the drownings in Lady Bird Lake, because there's speculation that maybe this person was drugged and then wandered into the lake, and that this is like the breakthrough that they needed. But honestly, I think it was during the daytime. And if you look back at the cases, at least from the guys that have been identified, most of those guys went missing at night. I don't know if it's going to be related or not. I mean, at this time, we can only speculate anyways. Yeah, they really need to. I think, you go to some place like Barton Springs. I think it's kind of known that if you go to a spring, the water there is going to be more pure, because Barton Springs is fairly clean because of the springs that all of, the bodies of water in Austin are, and that's just not the fucking case. You couldn't pay me to get into Barton Springs. Are you joking?
Barton Springs, oh my God. Like, I think that I've only been on the paid side once. I usually go to the free side, but I don't fuck with getting in the water there because it's death
so
trap.
Cold.
It's
oh my God.
cold, but all the fucking algae, like, you're slipping and sliding and you're crashing down into the water, and it's horrible.
They got like Mount Vesuvius. You have to like fucking climb down just to get down to the fucking springs. And by the time you get down there, you've broken your ankle, you've twisted your arm, you've sprained a couple ribs. You know what I mean? Going down that grassy knoll.
Unsafe.
Yeah, it is. And then what's the point? Like, it's actually a torture chamber, because by the time you go down this gauntlet, then you have to get into the water, and the water's minus 40 degrees. It's not a good time. I heard one time that this guy like brought a gun down to fucking Barton Springs and was talking shit and pulled out his gun.
What? Oh my god, could you
Yes.
imagine if you were in the water and you see somebody waving a gun around and then you're having to slip and slide on all this algae and try to get out?
Try to get out. At that point, I would just go under. I would go
Yeah.
under and just wait until, just keep going underwater. So hopefully you won't see my fat ass. One of my favorite stories, I'll tell you. This guy's like probably about 6'1", 6'1", and he was at Barton Springs. I think he was on the free side, and all of a sudden, this woman like has like 5 or 6 chihuahuas, okay, and they all come running at him, and he's like screaming because he's getting attacked by these chihuahuas. I mean, there's like a whole article about it.
Chihuahuas are rude, but I love them.
But he's 6'1". He could just stand up, is what I'm saying. Like he basically like laid on the ground and was like, "Oh God, these dogs! Like they're tiny. Just stand up."
He seems to just love laying down, which I can relate.
He does. Anyways, so I've heard like on Nextdoor and on Reddit and stuff, he's been going around and macing people's dogs.
No.
Yes, pepper spraying people's dogs because he was brutally attacked by these chihuahuas.
Oh my god, if someone maced my dogs,
are you joking?
No fucking way.
No. If somebody maced my dog, there'd be another body in the lake. That's all I have to say.
Exactly.
Anyways, that's my favorite story from Barton Springs.
Not worth it. Not fun.
Not fun. So was there anything else? Is there more stuff you wanted to talk about at the lake?
That's it. I just think that lake is trash, and I think that everybody just stay away.
It is trash, and you should stay away, and you should be very careful when you're downtown.
Yeah.
Because they have, I mean, we've said it before, we've talked about it before, but they've caught 2 women who were drugging these guys and like beating them up and robbing them.
Yeah.
Leaving them on the side of the street. And a lot of people think that's what's happening to the guys that have been previously found in the lake, which I don't necessarily agree, because there's been no evidence of any of the past men being robbed.
Right. Either they left their belongings with their friends or they're found on them.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of rumors circulating about, that as well, and like how they think that these 2 women that have been convicted of doing this is what's happening. And while I'm sure they are, I mean, yeah, they are committing crimes and they are robbing men and they are drugging them, I don't think that they're the reason why the majority of our guys that we've seen in the past have ended up in Lady Bird Lake deceased.
Yeah, no, I fully agree that that's not the case.
I mean, it's been happening since 2010. I do want to tell everybody though, for the podcast, not for the Patreon members, we're going to wrap this season up with a 2-part season finale. So y'all look out for that. Keep your eyes open.
Look for that. Are we telling them what we're doing? It's going to be a surprise. You're going to have to tune in. You want to know?
Yeah.
Tune in.
Yeah, you want to be in the know, yeah, why don't you just tune in?
Yeah. It'll be whenever we post it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for anybody who's been listening and who's not a member of our Patreon, so we are recording every week, but we're doing one recording session for the Patreon members. So that's 1 week, and then the next week we are doing the regular podcast episodes for our regular followers. Mm-hmm. So that's why we're now slowing down with the podcast episodes, because we can only record so much. So if you do want to hear us every week, then I suggest you just become a paid member of our Patreon.
Become a Patreon. It's $5.
$5. So what else are you gonna
$5.
do? Yeah, it's
It's
really not that bad,
it's
right?
like 16 cents a day.
We already have what? How many episodes up? We have 2 episodes up
Two
already.
episodes.
Yeah. All right. So with all that being said, it's time to do our missing person. So I do want to say that last episode's missing person, I believe, was found safely.
That's great.
Yeah, so if in case everybody was wondering why I didn't post their picture, it's because they were actually, by the time that we had released the episode, they were actually already found. So it's all good. This week's missing person is Christian Rangel. He is 25, sorry, he is 24 years old. He's been missing since April 8th from Austin. He was last seen at the Walmart parking lot at the 500 block of US Highway 290, eastbound on the service road. He was last seen seated in an SUV, light colored and indistinct, according to a statement by APD. So they don't know what make or model the SUV is. They just know that it's light colored.
Okay.
Which what the hell does that mean? I don't know.
I don't know. Silver or white or beige?
Maybe, maybe, yeah. So Christian is 5'9". He's Hispanic. He weighs about 161 pounds. He's got brown hair and brown eyes. His attire at the time of disappearance included a red cap, light blue t-shirt, black shorts, and distinctive white Crocs, brandished with red hearts.
Oh.
The I know that sounds so cute. The police are utilizing every available resource to locate Mr. Engel, but emphasize the critical role community members can play in these situations. If you see Mr. Engel or know his whereabouts, please call 911 or APD's Missing Persons Unit at 512-974-5250. And that is about it. So if you guys see him, please contact the Austin Police Department. I will post this picture up on the Instagram and on
Perfect.
Facebook.
Perfect. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Thank you so much
You're
for doing
welcome.
that. All right, so next week we're doing well, we don't know.
Yeah.
Patreon. Maybe a Patreon, maybe we'll be back here. We don't know. We'll talk about it.
We don't know.
We'll
We
talk
gotta
about
talk
it,
about it.
and then get back to you.
Yeah, we literally have we're chaotic. I mean, we're just chaos. That's it.
That's true.
That's us.
It's true.
So, if you do like our podcast, you can follow us on Instagram.
It's Nosey Nancies.
If you like us, you can also follow us on Facebook, our page and our group.
Is Nosey Nancy's podcast.
Um, if you want to become a Patreon member, we would fucking love that.
It's $5 and it's Nosey Nancy's.
You can join for free, which we have some like a little bit of content for the free people. So if you just want to join just to be part of it, that's cool. But you do get more episodes if you join as a paid Patreon.
Paid Patreon. That's $2.50 per episode.
Yeah, it's not bad. You also do get like some merch when you sign up. And in the future, we're probably going to be on video. So if you want to see our precious little faces, then
but
join
don't
the
look
Patreon.
at mine.
Yeah, or Todd will kill you. I'm just kidding.
Don't look at mine because I'll be all disheveled.
No, are you joking? Come on.
Oh, what if I could put one of those filters on where you're like the cat or the potato? That's probably what
Oh
I'll
my
do.
God. What if we did that? That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. I think that's basically it, isn't it?
That's it.
We'll see you guys next time.
Stay tuned.
Ciao.
C'est la vie, ma